Hey, good morning, everyone. All right. I'm Monica Adams. The show is The Real Monica Adams Show. And here's what I want to tell you. We started the show right at about 6:59 this morning, and it showed we were on X and YouTube. About 22 people were on. I was writing my executive assistant and letting her know that Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn and Rumble all of a sudden just gave me these exclamation points, and they all turned red, and all the streaming sources would not fire for us, which was very weird. And I was like, does that have anything to do with the weather? We just did the weather with Beckett Moore on those platforms, or at least it showed that those two were on. Now, I know that it's important for all of you to know what's going on. And I hope that a lot of you that are used to us coming on at 7 o'clock get the notification that we are on now and that there's no problems. All I did was stop the show and then restart the show. So very weird. Beckett shouldn't have school today. So I'm trying to see if by chance he can come back on, because I would like the rest of our platforms to be able to hear his forecast. He is the one that I want you to trust. He's the only source that I think you need to go to. If you are not familiar with him, I want you to follow him on YouTube and on X. Those are his two biggest platforms. More Weather Official. And throughout the day, he does tons of updates for you, and he will go live. He chases the storms. I mean, he really is amazing. I was telling a new friend of mine yesterday about just how great he is. So yes, a lot of you might be seeing nothing, or some of you might be saying, oh, there's a little bit of precipitation starting to fall. I was talking with Beckett about thunder snow that was falling in Joplin and in Springfield, and kind of continuing. He also said in Arkansas. For our immediate area, though, kind of a mixed bag depending on where you're living. So do me a favor, because you can be our eyes around town. Let me know what's happening, if anything is happening in your area just yet. Good morning to all of you. Jennifer Field, Kathleen Morris, Linda Eckert, Kathy Anselmo, Sean Fitzgerald already saying good morning on several of the platforms. Again, for all of you on Instagram, that was the first one that I saw that wasn't firing. And then the rest of the streams, I was like, what's going on here? Okay, I just want to see something here. Chef Keith Jones, it says Wild Horse Fitness. Wild Horse Fitness is where my mentor, who got me into personal training, owned Wild Horse Fitness. So Chef Jones, do I know you? And thank you for joining, by the way. I'm seeing a bunch of new names over on Instagram this morning. Hello to all of you. Feel free to comment on any of the platforms. I'm going to hop around, I should say, and see what you're all saying. But again, do me a favor and be our eyes and ears that are out there. I'm hoping you don't have to hit the roads. If you are most likely wanting to do it as soon as possible and then get back home. That's the best bet. There are 300 plus, as I mentioned on the other platforms, 300 plus schools or events that are canceled, including the zoo being closed. I heard the Arch was set to open at 11 o'clock, but they would revisit that. I'm hoping that they decide to keep it closed, because here's the deal. If you're not going to school and if you're not going to work, you shouldn't be driving out there this morning into the afternoon. In fact, a lot of this doesn't sound like it's going to be tapering it off until later this afternoon anyway. The majority of the weather, though, we were talking with Beckett, he's saying that it's going to start falling here within the next probably hour to 2 hours, and then it's really going to start hitting. Snow, freezing rain, sleet, all of that is expected. And as I mentioned to Beckett, I heard that there were possibly other rounds that were going to fall as well. And that included those into Saturday and Sunday, as well as Tuesday and Wednesday. So just a heads up and to be prepared on that. 7:15, we're going to give you a little news you can use. And some of that has to do with, again, being prepared and giving the crews the room that they need to be ready to go. There's a lot of pre-treating that is taking place, and there are snow plows that are out there, as well as all of the crews, street departments in several municipalities that are saying they're ready to go. Missouri State and city snow crews prepping for today's winter weather. You need to do your part, though. And we mention this every single time. That has to do with giving the crews the room that they need. Hi, Donna Radke. Hi, Bobby Williams. Good morning. Have an awesome day. Hopefully you can stay with us. So what do you need to do? Again, get your car off the city streets. Give them room. MoDOT, by the way, was joined in a press conference by the Missouri State Highway Patrol and the National Weather Service, warning the public ahead of today. They are saying from the National Weather Service, if you have to go into work, and I do mean have to, The afternoon is likely going to be a lot worse headed back home. So we're giving you news you can use. The Missouri State Highway Patrol told us if you don't have to get out and you can stay home, please do that. Again, MoDOT, not the only department in prep mode. All of the city, municipalities, all of those tow trucks are out there. They did a lot of pre-treating when we came home from the Fox, and I'm going to give you a review of Shucked here in just a little bit. I saw salt everywhere. So snow plows out galore, drivers on standby to clear their own roads. But one of the things that I heard, if you live in the city, is again, asking you to please do your part and get your car off the street. Otherwise, you don't want to complain because all of a sudden there's a bunch of snow in front of your car and you can't get out. I hear that from a lot of people, depending on where you live. I've got a friend who lives over in Olivet, and he said last time it came through, all of the snow was blocking his driveway and he had to get out there and clear it all to try to even get into his garage. But that's what happens. They don't really know what they can do with it, where they're going to move it to, etc. So the big story of the day, weather. Again, good morning. Lisa, thanks for posting about the weather. You're welcome. Actually, I just asked our Beckett Moore if he would like to come back on. So if he pops back on, I'm going to let him go a little bit more in depth on this forecast because he should be off school today. Julie Purcell, good morning. Again, we're also going to sprinkle in news you can use. We're going to sprinkle in the review of Shucked. Have you ever heard of that, by the way? Any of you see it? Did you see it last night? The entire musical is about corn. How can you do 2 hours and 15 minutes about corn? I'll tell you in just a second. So for those of you that are just waking up, we're giving you a little news you can use this morning. And one of the other stories that I saw had to do with pet owners urging each and every pet owner to re-register pets ASAP after a microchip company closes, leaving your pets untraceable. This is not good news. If your pet has a microchip from the company called Save This Life, you are urged to re-register your pet's microchip with another company, and they are stressing ASAP. This is affecting all of you pet owners nationwide. Why? This microchip company has abruptly gone out of business. If your pet has its Save This Life microchip scanned, owner information and data will no longer pop up, causing potential disaster if your pet gets lost. Your pet's microchip will be untraceable. There is a Facebook post from one animal shelter in San Diego, Animal Rescuers Without Borders. They are explaining step by step what pet owners should do to check if they're affected by Save This Life closing. So here's what you do. Find your pet's microchip number. You can check the pet's adoption papers or maybe the medical records to find that, or have it scanned at a veterinarian's office or animal shelter. Look up that number to see what company it's registered with. I did this. Mine are not affected by this, fortunately. But what about you? You can use the American Animal Hospital Association website, which will tell you what company the chip is registered with. If that chip is registered with Save This Life, ASAP, re-register it with another company. Some reputable options, by the way, include the one that we have, which is Home Again. There's also AKC Reunite, PetLink, and 24 Pet Watch. Animal shelters are encouraging you to spread the word. Please take this and share it with as many people as you can. Share it, spread the word with other pet owners about Save This Life's abrupt closing and prompt them to check their pets' microchips. I think that is one of the most important news you can use stories. The other one, of course, has to do with the weather. So he's back on with us. Beckett, thank you so much. Aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore coming back on because a lot of you didn't get a chance to see us when we fired the show at like 6:59 this morning. Suddenly, it's very weird, Beckett, because all I did was close it out, start it back up, and then every one of them fired. I think it's weather related.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? It's crazy. So Beckett, you are off school, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So you're not racing around to do this. So Becky
No.
came back on. That's how dedicated and devoted he is. So we're going to literally reset, redo, and get everybody ready. I was asking you earlier if anybody was already seeing weather, but I'm talking about our immediate area. So not really far out, but our immediate area. Nothing yet.
Not yet.
And you're thinking, though, by about 9 o'clock?
By about 9 o'clock, yes.
Okay, so what we're going to have Beckett do is tell us what is happening today. Again, as the crews I just told you are asking you to stay off the roads if possible. If you're a mandatory worker, the afternoon is going to be even worse on the roads. But this isn't the only thing. So Beckett's going to tell you about this weekend and into next week as well. All right, take it away, my friend.
All right, so looking at the current conditions right now, we got a temperature of around 32 degrees, dew point 23. It's pretty windy out there, east northeast wind at 15 miles per hour. Now, looking at the hour by hour forecast, of course, that snow we're expecting this morning into this afternoon, starting around 9 a.m., continuing through around lunchtime, and we'll see the start tapering off around 3 to 6 until late afternoon and early evening. Now, that snow that's heading our way, it's already in places like Springfield, and this is a look at Springfield right now, and you can see it right there. If you can see this, I don't know if the light might be making it bad, but it's a snow globe there. We got snow and sleet heavy at times there in Springfield, and that's heading our way. So this is what the scene could look like here in St. Louis. And then here's another camera in Springfield at a car dealership. All of the cars are covered in snow, and again, this is what's heading our way, so make sure you are prepared for it. Now, looking at the snow totals, overall, we've seen a bit of a downtrend from last couple of days. We were thinking maybe 2 to 4, 1 to 4 inches in St. Louis. I'm thinking more now, maybe 1 to 2, 1 to 3. If this does overperform, we could see 1 to 4. And as you head north of St. Louis, we could see maybe a few more inches. So maybe 2 to 4 in Lincoln County, northern St. Charles County, into Pike County as well. But as you head farther south into southern Jefferson County, down towards Farmington, St. Genevieve, that's where we could see more freezing rain mixing in. Overall in St. Louis, though, I'm expecting mostly snow with some sleet mixing in at times. But again, as you head farther south of St. Louis, that's where we could have freezing rain making roads slick. So you need to be prepared for that. If you don't have to travel this afternoon, please do not, because it's going to be a very messy commute. Now, looking at tonight's forecast, a couple snow showers tapering off as we head towards 5 p.m. with the temperature around 33. Temperature does lower down, cool down a bit as we head towards 8 to 10 p.m., getting around 30 with cloudy skies. And then heading into tomorrow, we do get increasing sunshine, but those temperatures really lowering as that cold air sinks into the area, only getting into the mid to upper 20s tomorrow afternoon. Now, finally, looking at the 7-day outlook, high today of around 33. Again, that wintry mix, mostly snow and sleet here in St. Louis with a low of 16 tonight. As we head into tomorrow, though, we get, again, that more sunshine, high, though, in the upper 20s, very cold. We warm up just a bit for Valentine's Day and Saturday, where we have another chance for wintry precipitation, likely rain during the day, and maybe some snow during the night, but overall minor accumulations are expected. And then heading into early next week towards President's Day, we keep being in the 20s with another chance for snow on Tuesday. I overall expect it to be pretty below average temperatures as we head all the way through the end of the month.
Okay, and as far as these other rounds, are you expecting accumulating snow? Is it going to be a nuisance?
I think Saturday, maybe a few inches, but I don't expect major accumulations with that at all. And then Tuesday, it's a little bit farther out, so I think we could see a couple of inches as well. But for right now, that does look like it's going to be more south of us towards southern Missouri and Arkansas.
I'm done with this.
Yeah, I know.
Are
Me
you
too.
also, because I know you like snow, but are you feeling the same thing?
I mean, if it was a big snowstorm, I'd definitely welcome it, but these small events, I don't really care for.
No, because that's what we're talking about. That's what is just the nuisance. That's
Yeah,
where it creates problems. And then
exactly.
parents are quickly trying to figure out, okay, scrambling, okay, what are we going to do? Because the kids are off school and then the roads are a mess. And
Yeah,
right, I agree with you. If it's going to be a big snowfall, it is beautiful to watch. And we're all staying home anyway, and we're all safe. But
yeah,
this is the problem. People see this and go, a dusting 1, 2 inches, I can get out there, and then tons of accidents, right?
exactly. These are the most dangerous events because of what you just said.
Yes. Well, Beckett, again, I can't thank you enough for coming back on because I wanted everybody to hear this. This is a big, big story of the day. I also just popped over. I want you to follow Beckett on X, More Weather Official. He just gave a heads up for those on I-44 corridor from Joplin to St. Louis, talking about heavy freezing rain, sleet, snow, likely. Again, forwarding on everything. So I know you're probably going to be very active on socials today, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, so follow on YouTube and X for anything that you want to know, and tell everybody to follow him as well. Beckett, thank you, and go do what you do good.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, that's Beckett Moore, aspiring meteorologist, coming back on for us because unfortunately, a lot of you didn't see us pop on for the first 10 minutes of the show. So that's why we reset and started over. Good morning, Tony, Linda, Beckett. Does your school check with you when they are deciding on a snow day? That's an interesting one. Love your passion for the weather. Jill or Beckett, if you actually hear that, maybe you can comment, because they should, right? They should make him, just like people have mascots at schools, he should be their honorable meteorologist. They should check with him. Hey, should we call off school? Let's call Beckett. That's a good one. I want to go over real quick to Instagram because I saw some comments over there. Good morning from Troy, Missouri. Hi, Katie. Good to see you. Nothing happening yet here in Belleville, says Diane. Hopefully you saw her show the other day. Lance said not much happening with the weather in Viburnum at the moment. So I love the fact that we have people all over. Again, wherever you are checking in with us, let us know if anything's falling in your area, because there are people that are outside of our immediate direct markets, Missouri, Illinois. If you're in other states, how are things looking where you are? So he's actually Western Iron and Southern Crawford County. Thank you for tuning in. And let's see, anybody else that I missed in the early parts? Okay, no. Again, thank you for keeping an eye on our pages, because that's why we tell you to follow or subscribe so you can get a notification when we're going live. And you should have gotten that, but all of a sudden the streams just decided not to work. Linda asked Beckett this question. Jill just said, no, they do not. Can you imagine how much the kids would love him if he could take credit for the snow days? I love it. Good morning. Stephanie says, quiet in Columbia, Illinois. Okay, but that's probably going to change here, Beckett says, in about an hour and a half. So you did see that we talked about preparations. We also talked about that big story about checking those microchips. Good morning, Kathy Anselmo, as well. So check your microchips and find out where it is from. And again, get those redone if in fact it's from the place that we were just telling you about. Okay, are you a Cardinals fan? I think a lot of us are looking forward to pitchers and catchers. They are getting ready to report for spring training, so that feels like the weather's going to be nicer. The Cardinals are announcing a flash sale. Get this, and we need this with prices going up on everything. I just mentioned egg prices, which I'll talk about in just a second. The Cardinals are announcing a flash sale with $10 tickets. They're kicking off spring training with that special offer. In celebration of pitchers and catchers reporting, the team has announced a 12-hour ticket flash sale featuring $10 tickets for select Monday through Thursday games during the 25 season. It begins actually, it kicked off today at 9 a.m. and it runs until 9 p.m. Each $10 ticket will also come preloaded with $10 in cards cash, which fans can use for concessions or maybe merchandise inside Busch Stadium. Fans can purchase up to 8 tickets per person per game. Ready for this? Here are your matchups. The Chicago Cubs, which will be the June 23rd through 26th series. You can also go to the Los Angeles Angels, March 31st through April 2nd. Houston Astros is in April. Pittsburgh Pirates, that's actually May or August games. Detroit Tigers, those are going to be in May. The Kansas City Royals, Toronto Blue Jays, the Washington Nationals, San Diego Padres. Those games are in summertime. We go into July, August, and September games. The Miami Marlins, the Colorado Rockies, the Oakland Athletics, or the Cincinnati Reds, any of those. The flash sale will end at 9 p.m. Fans can purchase tickets online at cardinals.com, or you can call 314-345-9000. So get ready for the warmer weather and think about going to a Cardinal game. Pretty cool, right? I like that. Also, in our news you can use, I told you every time I turn around and it seems as though there's the next recall and the next recall. Well, now we're talking about looking at your cabinets and your pantries. Do you have canned tuna? Was it at Costco or Kroger or Walmart that you purchased it? If so, heads up, botulism risk. We haven't talked about botulism in a little while. We talked a lot about listeria. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says Tri-Union Seafoods voluntarily recalling select lots of their canned tuna products sold under the Van Camp's, HEB, Genova, and Trader Joe's brand names. Okay, the impacted products were distributed for a variety of stores. As I mentioned, Costco, Publix, Kroger, Walmart in at least 26 states and the District of Columbia. And by the way, Missouri is on the list, and so is Illinois. The FDA website has a list of recalled products as well as the brand names sold and the type of stores impacted to each affected state. Tri-Union Seafood says the recall comes after their supplier notified them the easy open pull tab That lid on some of the products ended up with a manufacturing defect that may compromise the integrity of the seal, causing it to leak or even be contaminated with, again, botulism, that kind of bacteria, which can be very dangerous to you. Anyone with questions can contact Tri-Union Seafoods. And here's your email address: support at THAIunionhelp.zendesk.com. I'm going to give that to you again. Support at THAIunionhelp.zendesk.com if you need to call. They also have a toll-free number, which is 833-374-0171. But this is dangerous. Again, this is not something to take lightly. If you have that, I would tell you to get rid of it, or you might be able to take it to the store where you bought it for a full refund. But why in the heck does this keep happening? I keep saying I want to bring somebody on from the, see, Tessa's mad at that, from the food industry, and letting us know why in the heck are we talking so much about listeria and botulism and this problem and that problem for all of you, dangerous for you and your families. And then we've got a recall, not for food, but for your cars. Do you own one of these? Toyota recalling more than 140,000 vehicles for seatbelt and brake issues. So heads up, Toyota owners. The first recall applies to 2024 to 2025 Toyota Tacomas. Toyota officials say the rear brake hoses can be damaged over time and cause a brake fluid leak, increasing the risk of a crash. The other recall is for 2025 Toyota Camrys, the Lexus NX, and some 24-25 Lexus RX models. Officials say those cars may have damaged seatbelts and may not meet certain strength requirements. So this could increase the risk of injury during a crash. Toyota and Lexus dealers will make those repairs to the recalled cars, as they should, by the way, free of charge. Customers will either, you should otherwise be notified that the cars have been recalled by early April. But if you want to see if either recall applies to your car, you can visit Toyota's website or the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website and then enter in your car's VIN number. So yeah, what the heck? Recall, recall, recall. You know what? That was actually a story in the news. There was a city official. Do you remember her doing that? This is many years ago. It was like a soundbite played over and over again. She was like, recall. It was an older lady that was doing that. All right. Good morning to you. I've got my Know Your Value, my Real Monica Adams tea mug. Yes, do you know you can get one of these from us and start your morning off right? We haven't talked about our merchandise for a while, but we are talking about rolling out some new merchandise. And with that, I ask you, what would you like? We had shirts, we had jackets, we had quarter zips for the guys. We had obviously long sleeve shirts for the guys. Tessa wants evidently dog treats or toys or something with the Real Monica Adams logo. And we have journals. And then we have these coffee mugs or tea mugs, that I like to say. Let me know, though, is there anything in our merchandise that you think is missing that you would like to see? If so, let me know. I looked today to see what was on tap for February 12th, and it's only National Plum Pudding Day. I don't think I've ever in my life had plum pudding. Have you? Would you like it on a snowy, wintry day? Well, there you go. National Plum Pudding Day. It's tomorrow, though, that I want to talk about, because tomorrow, on February 13th, all over the place, is Galentine's Day. Now, I spoke with the owner of Stone House of St. Charles, checking in with her on ticket sales. She said so far, 115 tickets have been sold. She said she spoke with a bunch of people that said that they were waiting to see what the weather was going to be like before they pulled the trigger. I get that. I understand that. But if you can, purchase your tickets and join us. So here's all the information that you need to know. What's going to take place? It's Galentine's night. We're broadcasting at 5 p.m. We're going to be there. I hope you will as well. 5 p.m. is a broadcast, and it's when the shopping's taking place. 6 to 9 p.m. is the big Galentine's night celebration with all of your girlfriends, signature cocktails, themed charcuterie, music bingo, folks. Several rounds of that. And yes, there will be prizes for those of you that win. There's a QR code on the screen right now. If you want to just scan that to purchase your tickets, additional drink options will be available for purchase. So grab your gal pals and reserve a table and come on inside. Bundle up, by the way. Some people were asking what to wear. I'd say a sweatshirt. I would say a long sleeve shirt. I was going to wear maybe a cute jumper or something like that. It's going to be so cold, and we'll probably be walking around in our boots needing to not be overly cute and dressy. And first of all, it's music bingo. So I would dress casual anyway, but this is where we're going to be. Stonehouse of St. Charles, beautiful property. Can't wait to be there with you. And again, celebrate Galentine's before we celebrate Valentine's. Did you see the roses behind me? Let me get this mic out of the way. Aren't they gorgeous? Those aren't from my honey. Those are from Diane Isbell. She brought those in for the run for the roses, as we talked about Kentucky Derby, but also just to be a sweetheart. She's queen of etiquette, right? Beautiful roses. Thank you, Diane. So I'm going to take a break and ask you that question. What are you getting your honeys? And do you consider it, which is what we talked about the other day, do you consider it too much of a Hallmark holiday? Are you excited about it? Will you get roses, chocolates? What else are the fun things that you want to get someone for Valentine's? I like to scroll through social media and all these things that I see people say, okay, if you want something unique, buy this, buy that. Have you seen the one on, I think it's either on Facebook or Instagram, or maybe all of them, where you can do a special customized song for your loved one? So you literally tell them the whole story about your background, and then you can pick a singer from all of the singers that they have in their I guess within that company. I don't know if it's like specifically you're hearing from that person, like doing little demos, or if you're just picking a certain sound, or if it's a certain genre. But I've thought about doing that in the past. And then all of a sudden you surprise the person and they're listening to this going, wait a minute, that sounds like our story. And then suddenly they start tearing up and going, it is our story. How'd you do this? It's very cool. So I don't know the name of the company, but you probably could find it just by typing in something like that. That to me is a very unique present for obviously Valentine's, or for a birthday, or for a special holiday, or maybe just because you just love your honey. So there's an idea for you if you haven't thought of that. I also like those customized watches. I bought one for Jim before we got married. It's a wood watch, wood grain watch. And then in the middle is actually etched a picture of us. I think that's from like our engagement or something. My mom did that for Jim for his birthday. So that's when you think, to me, the extra step, instead of roses, chocolates, chocolate covered strawberries, those kind of things that you're used to, maybe you get a little more creative. Okay, speaking of chocolate covered strawberries, we have another show at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Myself and Michelle are going to do Wet Your Whistle Wednesday, talking about Galentine's Day, by the way. So if you have never tuned into that, please do so. 4 o'clock this afternoon, Wet Your Whistle Wednesday with myself and Michelle, talking all things Galentine's. When we come back, I'm going to talk about corn. Yep, Shucked, the musical, last night opened up at the Fabulous Fox. My review is coming.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. You are such a gift to the world. Your program is so needed in today's, really in the messages that people need today. So thank you. Thank you for having your faith. So again, thank you so much. I am looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to watching your show much more. So I appreciate you so much. And may God bless you beyond measure.
So sweet, and may God bless you, Tessa Greenspan. Just absolutely love you. And thank you to Zach Kimball, by the way. I know Zach had signed on earlier. I don't know if he's still on, but Zach is doing all those promos for us. We have Tessa Greenspan, Amy Post, Steve Ewing, and more of you to come. If you have come in for an interview and you've sat down and you've talked about what the show meant to you and what you think it means to the world, those are all showing up in these beautiful promos. You may hear this in the background. I haven't done this in a while. I lit my candle. It smells amazing in here. This is Moonlight and Citrus Scentational Wooden Wick Candle. So I used to do this to be the light that you want to see in the world, which, by the way, the sign behind me, it's behind the roses right now, but it says to be the change you want to see in the world. I also think we can be the light. So you might hear the flickering in the background a little bit and go, what is that? It's my candle. Julie Fabian says, I make chocolate covered strawberries. There you go. A little more love into it. I'll make a bunch that he can bring to work. Her hubby. Hubby has to work all weekend. We may go to dinner tonight. Oh, Julie, stay off the roads. I would rather you do that tomorrow or on Friday. Carrie, not working today because the worst storm is forecasted for my off time. Wasn't taking a chance. Good morning to you. Yes, stay off the roads if you can. Over on Instagram, we've got a bunch of you signing on. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody's comment. No, a lot of you were telling us what was going on by you, and feel free to do that. Beckett was on earlier telling us the forecast, but if you want to be our eyes and our ears wherever you're watching from, please do so. Okay, let me reach down here in my bag of goodies. So this is what I saw last night. Shucked. We went to the Fabulous Fox beforehand. Hi, Tess. Tessa's like, what's in that bag I just heard? It's not food for you. Get. We went to Curtain Call Lounge beforehand, which when they first opened, get out of the bag. When they first opened, they were known for being a champagne bar. And then I'll tell you what, they've got fabulous food. So before you go to the Fox, you can either go there. There's a wonderful Mexican restaurant directly across the street that I always forget how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to, but it's really, really good. And then there's a couple of other places. Let me know, though, if you go down to the Fox, where do you like to go beforehand? To grab a drink or to grab food? Because I always like going maybe to new places. And those are the ones that we normally go to. I love the Mexican restaurant, even though I don't want to try to pronounce it because I always pronounce it wrong. I think one of you told me how to pronounce it, but I don't know if that was correct because someone said, that's not how you say it. I was like, just go. It's directly across the street, Mexican restaurant. And then maybe afterwards you can go to Jazz at the Bistro, which is just behind it. Okay, so I knew nothing about this. Anybody else there last night that's up early this morning? Did you enjoy it? So it's 2 hours and 15 minutes from start, including intermission. So just know that starts at 7:30. It opened up last night at the Fabulous Fox. I didn't know what to expect. I was asking my media rep where I get my tickets from. And she's like, Monica, I really think you're going to love it because it's funny. And then she knows that I grew up with, well, I worked in country music radio. And so she's like, it's got this, kind of country theme to it. I actually felt it kind of had a mixture of like a hee-haw. It had a mixture of like a Branson feel or a Dollywood feel. It's very corny. It's very corny. It's silly, but I'll tell you what, the singers, wonderful. And I just want to give them some major props. I don't know whether it's Miki or Mickey Abraham. She plays the role of Lulu, and boy, can that girl sing. Well, they all can, but her voice just really stood out to me. Maisie's did as well. Maisie is Danielle Wade. And then Bo, who I just thought was a cutie, Jake Odmark. Peanut is Mike Nappy. Gordy was Quinn. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Van Antwerp. That's an interesting name. Grandpa is Eric Pinnock. Tank is Kyle Sherman. And then, of course, they have this wonderful ensemble. So it is hilarious. Kind of some adult themes, though. So understand that if you're bringing kids, just know if this was a movie, I would say it's PG-13. There are some definitely adult-themed jokes to it. The kids will probably laugh and kind of snicker as they would if they were 13, 14, 15 years old. But I do recommend it. It is, again, I like going in and not knowing anything about the show and just being surprised. Great music. Great set, by the way. Interesting set. In the beginning, I was looking at it going, is that tilted? Is that right? What am I looking at? So Jim went with me last night. I do have to love on him because I'm so blessed that he likes the arts as much as I do. And this one, neither one of us knew anything about. He was like, what is this? I said, it's all about corn, honey. And he's like, okay, he didn't even ask any questions. That's the set. You're not supposed to take pictures once the show starts. So I just took a picture of the set before we got underway. But yes, corn jokes. It's all about having an issue with the corn dying, and then what do they have to do? And so one of they live in Cobb County. Okay, everything again, corn. It's just corny from start to finish, and nobody ever leaves Cobb County until Maisie decides to take it upon herself to be the hero and go. And she goes to Tampa. And then she finds this guy who's kind of a snake in the grass and a little swindler. And then she brings him back to save the day. He only goes with her because he thinks that there's some rocks there that are worth a lot of money. And so it all plays around that. Love is intertwined. deception, deceit, kissing on somebody else, but finding their way back to each other. A lot going on. Did I love it? I did, actually. I would have to ask Jim what he thought. It was corny as heck. So you've got to like slapstick and maybe a little dry humor. But I stress, if you're bringing your kids along, please understand that there are some adult themes in it, but funny. And again, having that little hee-haw, Branson, Dollywood kind of feel. But the voices, again, my favorite was Lulu and Maisie. Very, very beautiful voices. And in fact, I would love to interview Maisie because I would like to know if she is a big fan of Reba McEntire. And the reason I say that, if you go see Shucked, there's ways that Reba sings, and I've known Reba for a long, long time. There's ways that Reba sings, things that she does by the way she looks up. It's just little facial expressions. It's things that she does with her mouth. It's the tone that she does. I believe that Maisie, this woman Maisie, what's her real name again? Maisie is Danielle Wade. I think if we look into it, that she has Reba McEntire on her list of favorites. Don't know her. It's just what I was feeling. Audra, good morning. I saw Shucked last night with my son. Well, shoot, I wish I would have known you were there. I thought it was so funny and nonstop one-liners that kept me laughing the entire show. Checked off my New Year's resolution to laugh more for sure. I'll agree with that. There is a ton of laughter that you'll hear all throughout the show. My son's school needs to listen to Beckett. His school is not closed. Are you serious? Wow. And Shucked is not for kids. My son is 18. Oh, 18. Okay, so were you embarrassed at all with some of the stuff that they talked about? I mean, that's the thing. I just remember watching movies and shows with my parents and going, no. Michelle has an interesting tidbit for you. She says, today starts the snow moon. It is sometimes also known by the names bald eagle moon, bear moon, bony moon, groundhog moon, hungry moon, and raccoon moon. That darn groundhog saw his shadow. And now we've got more snow and sleet and freezing rain and right? We just said we don't like all of this. Okay, so Audra saw it as well as I did. Anybody else, whether you're watching live now or if you want to let us know later, you can do a little hashtag replay and let me know what you thought of it. I do agree with Audra that it is nonstop slapstick, funny, and I just kept laughing and laughing and laughing. And I agree with you, Audra. I needed more of that as well. And a lot of the shows that you see don't have that. So Fabulous Fox Theater kicked off last night, and Shucked will go until February 23rd. Shucked, by the way, there's a book by Robert Horn, the music and the lyrics by Brandy Clark and Shane McAnally. So wonderful time. Go see it. And I was excited to see this. Our friend is in the playbill. St. Louis Closet Company. Hello to Jennifer Williams, the owner. Thank you for getting us organized. And yes, by the way, if you've all wanted to know, how's it going? Have I stayed organized? I have, and I've actually taken it to the nth degree. The only thing that I haven't done yet is go through the drawers, right? The junk drawers that she talked about. Haven't had a chance to tackle that, but I have been pretty busy with the show and getting the show ready. Speaking of just how busy we are, we will be right back, and I'm going to tell you all about some upcoming mobile Monicas. And then my last piece has to do with what does life look like when you really just let go and decide to be real? And I mean silly real, like we saw at Shucked last night, and not feeling like you're going to be judged. Okay, so go ahead in the next 15 minutes or so, tell me what life would look like if you allowed yourself to be real. And actually, at the same time, you can tell me, oh, I already am, Monica, and I could not care less of anybody else's judgment or saying you're dorky or this or that. Show all of that. I have a very goofy side to me. I don't want to say class clown, but I was just silly, just crazy silly. And all I ever wanted to do was make people laugh when I was younger. I think all my friends would agree that I've never changed, and I don't want to. I want to always keep that youth in me. Do you feel the same way, or do you hold back? And if you do hold back, answer me why.
What's up, y'all? Steve Ewing over here, and I'm hanging out with Monica Adams on the Monica Adams Show. It was awesome to be able to come in here, talk about what we do, and really kind of have some positive things to say about our city, about St. Louis. All the really cool things happening here. Such a great environment here. And I love her energy, and I love the energy she puts into telling these stories about the really cool things happening in our city. Thanks, Monica, for having me on the show. This was amazing. I get to talk about all my good stuff, and you get to give them that energy, which I love. So thank you very much.
No, my friend, thank you. That's Steve Ewing. If you don't know him, of course, he was very popular with The Urge, that band, and then he's known for Steve's Hot Dogs all over the place. Congratulations, by the way, to the new opening down in Chesterfield. You can even go get some grilled cheese. Ah, yummy, yummy, yummy. So if you go to the factory, I would encourage you to stop by there. All right. I mentioned that we've got a lot of mobile Monicas coming up. So the first one is again tomorrow night, the big Galentine's event that we have at Stonehouse of St. Charles. But it doesn't end there. I would love for you to start thinking about where you would like to see us celebrate 500 shows, folks. 500. So that is coming up in just a few weeks. We are thinking of being out for 5 straight days. We'll even go into 6 or 7 if you want us to, but the actual 500th show, and I'm going to check with Michelle because I want to make sure that she includes the fact that we're doing 2 shows. 2 shows today. Tomorrow, I think we're going to do 1, and that's the big Galentine show. It depends. If I hear some big things in the news, I might pop on with you real quick and do something a little bit shorter. But we've got the big Galentine show tomorrow night. So I'll have to ask Michelle if she's including 2 and 2. And if not, then it's actually going to be a little bit earlier. So maybe it'll end up being Monday, the 3rd, that we have 500 shows. 500, though, right now set for March 4th, which happens to be my brother's birthday, which would be kind of cool for my brother to come celebrate with me. March 5th, there's nothing on the plate just yet for March 4th or 5th. So where do you think would be a great place for us to celebrate the actual 500th show? And then other businesses that would like to book us for Mobile Monicas, like Viviano's and Chef Mel have done. So Viviano's in Fenton, that's the location that we'll be at from 4 to 5:30. I want you to make plans right now to join us for incredible Italian food. And then I can't wait to try Chef Mel's sauces, gourmet sweet Sicilian pasta sauce, woman owned. You got to love that. Support small business, by the way. And I love lifting up women. So you can visit Viviano's. Their website is vivianoscafe.com. They do have a location in Chesterfield if you want to maybe go in and pick up the orders to go. But Chef Mel, those sauces, by the way, can be found in multiple stores and a lot of cute little boutiques, as well as cute little Italian stores like down on the hill, etc. Chef Mel and Michael Viviano will be on our show celebrating our 500th, and big celebrations for them as well. We're going to hear their backstory next Tuesday. They're going to join us in studio. Well, in one of our secondary sets, I should say, because we haven't launched our new studio yet. We do have more and more that has gone into the planning process. Yesterday, I was with Danielle, who was with the custom design program at Carroll House. So we're bringing Carroll House back on the show. I can't wait to do that. You will see some familiarity from my original studio that was in Richmond Heights. But we've got to have a fresh look, right? So I'm excited to show you the brand new studio and some new furniture, way different lighting. Here's the deal. I really have to thank, I need to know how to pronounce his last name. Brian Goaz, I believe it is. Brian's been working with us. He is an incredible consultant. Like, this man's brilliant. He is going to have the look of the show unlike it's ever looked. It's got this national feel to it. So why not, as we level up with you? So with our 500th show coming up, and then we go over that hump of 500 and we start chipping away at the next 100, 600, 700, all the way up to the next big one, which will be, of course, 1,000. We are not stopping anytime soon. We've got a lot of exciting things for you. So Galentine's at Stonehouse of St. Charles tomorrow. And then March 6th is our show with Viviano's, but it doesn't stop there. I don't have a time on this one yet, but I do want to let you know about them. And then we'll be giving you more information as it becomes available. We have a Mobile Monica that is coming up on March 26th, and we are all going to be getting ready for spring. This is at Hoffman Hillerman's Nursery, and they're going to tell us all about, which I think is really fun. I looked this up and I originally was like, What is a potting bar? Well, now I know. It is these private classes that you can do. You can make your own little geraniums, all these things that they're going to teach you. So if you don't feel like you have a green thumb, they will get an opportunity to show you just how to do that. So that is going to be coming up, as I just mentioned, March 26th. Now, the woman that I am booking with said probably, but don't keep us to this, probably around 10 a.m. But it could be maybe 11 or so. I think they open at 9 a.m. They go until 4 p.m. And there are certain days that they're closed. So look them up. Hoffman Hillerman's Nursery and Florist. And that's in Washington, Missouri. So we are wanting to get all over the place. Missouri, Illinois. But this show can be done, as we have proven, in other states and even in other countries. So boom, boom, boom. And then still, again, some details, but I might as well drop it in. Coming up in April, and it's supposed to be the beginning of April, we are going to be at Hello Juice and Smoothie. We're going to be in the city location. They have two. They have one that I used to stop at regularly when I would leave Channel 5 and I would get those acai bowls. They've got a monster bowl. We're talking about making a Real Monica Adams bowl and then maybe giving proceeds to our first responders during a certain time period. So some really exciting things. But if you've never been there, and you do like those type of bowls and fresh juices and things like that, go see my friend Jen Manis at either the Kirkwood location or the city location. If you have been, you understand. It's kind of like that. If you know, you know. But the other thing you may not know about is that she also has Hello Eats. So for all of you that want to be prepared and have ready to eat meals, she's going to keep you on track and keep you healthy. So I'm excited about that. So as you have just heard, Galentine's at Stonehouse of St. Charles, Viviano's and Chef Mel's coming up at the first week of March. Later in March, we're going to be at Hoffman Hillerman's Nursery. And then coming up in April, we're at Hello Juice. I've got a couple of other things being planned with a collaboration of businesses in one particular area where we take that over. I'm hoping that that will be the case for our big, big celebration. So I'll let you know if that happens. And then there's another place in Clayton that I'm going to be talking to on Friday. So again, where would you like us to go? The show has amassed a following of over 50,000 on all these platforms, but our reach has been over 3 million since we started the show. And it's all because you all join in and that you love the fact that we are very community-based, that we wake you up to some fun and some positivity and some hope. We give you so many different themes. Again, meeting with Danielle at Carroll House. Thank you. Whenever she gets a chance to watch this show, she said, Monica, I love what you're doing. I am a regular viewer now. And she said, can I just tell you thank you for bringing Jesus and God into your show? I love the fact that people are saying thanks to that. Did you see yesterday, by the way, Pastor David Hawkins? I'm just going to tell you, he lit me up. I thought it was a fabulous show. I hope you did as well. And no, I will never apologize for bringing faith into the show, and we'll be doing it more and more and more. Good morning to all of you that are joining on all of the different platforms. Don't stay quiet. Feel free to say anything. Okay, my last part is this. What does it take for you to just let go? Okay, this is the part I'm going to ask you before we wrap up today. To be silly, to not feel like you're going to be judged, to allow someone to say, oh my gosh, you're acting like a dork, which again can be just this silly thing, or it might be that someone hears that word and they take it to heart and they feel that it is, detrimental. Goodness, that it's detrimental to them because they consider it to be a bullying thing. You know, a lot of us use words that we don't think hurt. And you're like, oh, you're acting dorky. But the way you say it, like you're a dork, can be very hurtful, right? So do we give power to words? Do we give power to people that say you're acting dorky? Or do you laugh it off and just say, yeah, be dorky with me? How many of you are really willing to be able to do that? I am. And as I mentioned, I could not care less if someone is judgmental or calls me this or calls me that. I have forever been a silly, silly, silly kid. And then going into my, 20s, 30s, 40s, and now 50, I will never hold that back. Because to me, you can't take life so seriously. As Audra and I said, it was so fun to laugh and to just let go last night and just listen to whoever the writers are brilliant with Shucked, to allow us to laugh again. You know, you look at young kids, they don't care initially when they're really young about what other people are saying about them. And then they start giving power, and then they start saying that this person bullied them. But today I just wanted to sprinkle it in a little bit, and we might do a show bigger on that and maybe bring a cast of silly characters on with me that say, oh, I learned a long time ago to not let people affect my life. And I am real, right? That's one of the things that I love, and I'll never, ever not be to you is authentic. We talked about authenticity yesterday. Be real, be silly, let go, be yourself, and watch what happens when you show the world who you really are. And then suddenly you're surprised that you could have been this all along, but you held back, and you're showing a side of you that is not really you. You know, a lot of times people will say, describe this person, and they will kind of give like the brushstroke of who they are. Their true friends, their true family members come back and say, oh my gosh, no, you have missed so much. They are also this. And so people who are really dear friends of mine who really know the real Monica Adams will say she is just a big goofball. She's generous with her heart. She wants the best for the world. Maybe to a fault, I trust everyone. And then I find out some bad things about people, and then I'm a little guarded. You have to be. I have hardened where I need to harden by some friends and family members, by my husband, but I've also softened them where I think they need to soften. I don't want people to go around and not trust, but I also realize that we shouldn't trust everyone. It's like this it's this balance. But how many of you really are, before we wrap up, willing to show you? And can you tell me when you allowed yourself to do that? How old were you? Because I think a lot of kids I would talk to would go, yeah, I'm me. I'm a big goofball. I don't care what other people think. And then at some point in life, you get to a certain age and you start holding back. You start being reserved. And you think, oh, someone's going to judge me. And you will let them have power over you into what? How long? How long into your life until you all of a sudden switch it and go, oh yeah, no more. Now I'm going to go back, or I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to be who I want to be. Stephanie just said, life's too short now. I just saw the play Frozen on our Disney cruise. Just let it go. I'm loving life now, right? So Stephanie, it sounds like you were stunted in that growth at some point. Anybody else? If you want to, you can comment now or comment later when you watch this on replay. I'd love to know how many of you really do show the real you. I will forever, by the way, I make that promise to you. I will forever show who I am. I wasn't able to, by the way, in news. We couldn't show who we were. We just had to sit in front of a teleprompter, read the news, or when I was doing traffic. I will say I was able to show you a little bit more of my goofy side doing traffic when I was at Fox and when I was at NBC. I did a regular Halloween segment, and that's when you really saw who I was. Crazy goofball, right? So whether it was by myself or with Glenn Zimmerman or Chris Higgins or Anthony Slaughter, we let go. We just, one of my favorites was me and Anthony, actually, Halloween, probably 2020, maybe 2021. We were just big goofballs. We had 4 different Halloween changes and really got into character. Did we care what anyone else was thinking? When the viewers were like, okay, these two are obnoxious. I don't care. The ones that loved it. And it was actually a big show. So, Stephanie said she started in my 50s and 60s. See, all that time in life leading up to that where she didn't show her true self. Now she's the real Stephanie Newbill. I'm loving the fact that she was willing to say that. Everybody else, there's 46 of you on right now that are holding back. I'm just going to ask you today, if you allow yourself, even starting to sprinkle it in, start showing who you want the world to see. Be the change you wish to see in the world. So if you want to see everybody let go, be silly, be authentic, be real, just be big goofballs, you do it and then watch what happens as they follow. I hope they follow that. Anybody else willing to say, Audra, absolutely, I'm me with no apologies. Cancer definitely took this to a new level, but I've always been me. Yes. And sometimes, right, Audra, we have to go through some really tough times to say, no more am I going to hold back who I am, because you know, and I know, going through some really rough things medically, that life is unbelievably short. Why not be who you've always wanted to be? And you'll find, by the way, your tribe who wants that. They want the goofy side. They want the serious side. They want the dedicated friend or the great family member or wife or parent. They want all of that wrapped up into one. And you're a pretty amazing human being, wonderful creature here on earth with all of your silliness and all of your seriousness and everything that you provide. Give it all. and watch what happens and watch who comes into your life. Those are your lifers, by the way. They're going to stick around for all of it. One of my lifers, by the way, I want to thank. So I brought this up this morning. So, Michelle, thank you for the early Galentine's present. She saw the fact that tomorrow will probably be crazy busy with getting ready for our big Galentine's party. Again, if you haven't heard, it's going to be at Stonehouse of St. Charles. Tickets are still available. She gave me, for a brand new year to level us up, we've got journals on set, by the way, and she knows I love journals. So here's my new notes, and I smiled because I was like, I bet you she wrote something inside. If she didn't, I would have been surprised, by the way. So inside it said, a new book for a new adventure. And what does she mean by that? We are going to debut a new set for you. Hopefully, what is it? It's the it's the 12th today. So I'm really hoping by the end of the month. There's still a lot of work to do. I mean, people that walk by that are in the building where we are, they're like, oh my gosh, it's looking amazing. I was like, oh, we're nowhere near done. We're nowhere near done, but you may have seen the new microphones that we have, which are really amazing. Really, really cool. She also gave me some dark chocolate. Thank you. It is 70% cocoa, strong dark chocolate, which is a good chocolate for pairing. And then she knows I love spicy things. Cinnamon lovers. Do you see, Michelle? I already opened it. I already had some. So thank you, sweetheart. I love you. And thank you for the early Galentine's present. Yeah, remember your friends. Remember your family. If someone doesn't have a loved one, reach out to them during this Hallmark week of Valentine's. If they're not with someone, just check in with them because they might just want to hear that you absolutely love them. I'm going to send a little something off to my mom, who of course is not with her loved one. My father's birthday, 10 days from now. And it'll be a little hard for me. So February 22nd, my dad would have been 89. My mother has her birthday coming up on March 8th during our 500th celebration. So I'm hoping our big 500 show will actually be on her birthday. How cool would that be? But yeah, if you're missing your loved one, you lost your loved one, or you're not in a relationship right now, we're here for you. We're all a community here. We all love you. And we'd love to meet you at some of these incredible events. So don't just watch them on your computer. Come to them and meet a whole new community of friends. Okay, so there's a lot coming up. Michelle, by the way, puts those on our website. So we'll be putting the Hoffman Hillerman's Nursery and the Hello Juice and Smoothie ones very soon as we have the time on those. But for now, it's tomorrow night that I hope to see you. Again, don't let the weather deter you. Just clear off your driveway, maybe take the car down. I'm going to do that right now and get ready. I'm going to load all the equipment up and be ready to go so that we can be with you tomorrow night for Galentine's. And then we'll see you also, I hope, on March 6th to have some wonderful Italian food and taste Chef Mel's sauces together. All right, we're going to wrap things up here. Don't forget, 4 o'clock this afternoon, join us for Wet Your Whistle Wednesday, a special Galentine's edition with one of my gal pals. Michelle and I will be there for you. So today is February 12th. It is a Wednesday, and we're going to read from Jesus Calling. So we end up with our devotionals, whether it's Stephen Arterburn or Sarah Young or who knows what else will be coming. Yesterday, oh, what a great devotional, wasn't it? I just, right away, I put him on the spot and David Hawkins grabbed it and just ran with it. He was so good. A wonderful way to wrap up yesterday's show. Okay, you ready? Jesus Calling. I am ever so near you, hovering over your shoulder, reading your every thought. People think that thoughts are fleeting and worthless, but yours are precious to me. I smile when you think lovingly of me. My spirit, who lives within you, helps you to think my thoughts. And as your thinking goes, so goes your entire being. Let me be your positive focus. When you look to me, knowing me as God with you, you experience joy. And that is according to my ancient design when I first crafted man. Modern man seeks his positive focus elsewhere, maybe in sports or in sensations or acquiring new possessions. Advertising capitalizes on the longing of people for a positive focus in their lives. I planted that longing in all of your human souls, knowing that only I could fully satisfy it. Delight yourself in me. Let me become the desire of your heart. Again, we like to read these devotionals, and I love all of you that go to Bible studies, and I just love the fact that you're bringing, as we put yesterday, bringing God back to the table and talking about your faith and your spirituality or your religion, your beliefs, and not feeling like you're going to be judged. This is a no judgment zone, just like that gym in town. No judgment zone here. We love to spread faith along with you. All right, everybody, as we started the show, and I don't know why all of the platforms didn't want to fire this morning, but I'm glad we were able to reset and come on with you. Sorry for a lot of you that it was a little bit late. However, thank you to Beckett Moore for giving us the forecast. And the biggest thing we can say is stay off the roads unless you are a mandatory worker. It's starting to come your way probably very soon, if not right now. And I know a lot of you watch in the outer area of our direct market. If it's already falling in your area, please be careful. If not, just know it's coming. A lot of schools have been closed. Audra, I'm surprised that your kid's school is not. A lot of schools have been closed. A lot of events have been closed and canceled. So keep checking in. If those of you are saying, all right, I'm home, I want to go do something, just be careful. And again, give the crews the room that they need to clear the roads for all of us that are deciding to stay home and to stay safe. And then tomorrow we'll be able to get out. And thank you to all the crews, by the way, that are going to be working nonstop and around the clock to clear the roads, clear the side roads, clear the subdivisions, and clear those highways, because I want you to make your way to Stonehouse of St. Charles so we can hear you. They announced remote learning. Very good, Audra. I'm glad they did so. Stephanie, you're so welcome. Be safe and have a good day to you as well. And that goes to each and every one of you. Have a beautiful day. Please stay safe. We'll see you at 4 o'clock this afternoon for a special Wet Your Whistle Wednesday. It's going to be a fun one as we pair up not one, not two, but 3 different wines with chocolate and chocolate covered strawberries. Michelle and I will see you at 4 o'clock. And then tomorrow, again, unless there's some serious stuff going on in the news, I probably won't come on tomorrow morning, but then tomorrow evening we have that'll be the more reason if you are missing your Real Monica Adams show, why you want to come to Galentine's tomorrow night. And then Friday, I'm excited because we're going to have one of the Waltons girls on. They're kicking off the Working Women show again this year. We're not going to be there. I'm not speaking this year. Unfortunately, they're kind of doing a scaled down version of the Working Women show. So they didn't have a big advertising budget for a lot of things that we did for you last year. I'm hoping 2026 will change though. However, I did tell them I wanted to help them out. And so with them kicking everything off, we're going to interview the Waltons' Mary McDonough. Are you familiar with her? I'm going to talk with her and have her on Friday and talk about her being here with her Walton sisters for the Working Women show. I'm looking forward, by the way, to my big auctioneer night on Saturday. With this weather coming in again, I guess we'll be parking down below. We're going to be at St. Raphael the Archangel. We have a lot of upcoming MC and auctioneering. So we have those services with our brand as well. In case you've got an event coming up and you want to raise some major money, reach out to me at info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. All right, you're all up to date. I hope you have a beautiful and very safe day. We're going to wet our whistles with you, hopefully. Join in on all the platforms at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Tomorrow, Galentine's. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a very blessed day. And remember to show kindness around the world. It's the greatest thing you can do. God bless you all.